was greatly increased. And I just wanted you to know that they have made the sacrifices just as our men have. Maybe not as many with death, but certainly with other injuries that they'll carry throughout their lives. Briefly, I'm having trouble seeing my watch. I just briefly want to say that I had the privilege, and I was going to tell this story, but I'll tell you, I know it's hard for you to hear me, that when I was in Vietnam, I didn't have many major sacrifices, but one that I did get ill several times. But I helped a gentleman who was a sergeant first class, who had been wounded and had been laying out in the field for 3 days before they could get safely to him, and members of his squad. When he came in that night after his surgery, he was brought to my ward, and I was able to care for him and do such simple things as get him a breakfast at 3 o'clock in the morning, which he was grateful for because he hadn't eaten in 3 days. I think this thing is dying. But anyway, I was able to help him that way, and he came later to talk to me. He came a couple of times before he came back to the States. And when he did, one of the last things he told me was that he had been put in for the Medal of Honor. And I had never known anybody who had received the Medal of Honor, but when this happened, it was a few months later that I came back home, and I was kind of depressed because I had been very ill. And I happened to notice my parents had a copy of Life magazine, and I opened it up, and there was the sergeant. And there was a picture of him with President Lyndon Johnson receiving the Medal of Honor. And this is a man who came 3 times back to see me at the hospital to do one thing, and that was to thank me for what I did for him. Here was a man who sacrificed almost everything, including his life. He saved 9 of his men. He had literally pulled them out of danger to a place where the helicopters could safely land and pick up these wounded men, as well as him, who he was also wounded. That meant a lot to me, and has throughout my life. I never saw him again, but he was a man who was dedicated, and you know, he came back to apologize in case he swore or anything like that to me, and he did not. He was very much of a Southern gentleman from Western Virginia. Those are some of the things that we need to think about. Each and every veteran here, all of us, we have sacrificed our time. Some of us have sacrificed our bodies serving this country. I am very grateful for the country that I live in and for having the opportunity to serve it. And for those of you who haven't had that experience, you know, you have to remember that there are a lot of freedoms here that a lot of other places don't have. And it's because of the people who have served that you have it. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today, and God bless you all.